Hello and welcome. Hello. Let's try to get TikTok too. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Hello, TikTok. Today we're going to talk about interesting subject: how to heal your inner masculinity. And you will tell me, Anastasia, we're trying to be feminine here. And I will tell you, as a highly feminine woman, healing masculinity is one of the major things that needs to be done. I will explain to you why. So there are women that have a lot of masculine energy. Women that have a lot of energy of fire and air, they're highly masculine. So it's kind of easier for them to keep their masculinity clean. Women that have a lot of femininity, keeping masculinity clean is challenging. Why? Because they don't have much of it. So they basically stressing out of what to do, how to keep the masculinity. You see, when you have a little of something, you're not sure what to do with it. Like, for example, when you have a little femininity in you, you're trying too hard to be feminine. When you have a little masculinity in you like overworking and over analyzing yourself to get your masculinity to work and to be strong. So must keep a healthy masculinity is a must. I always say a man in your life is a representation of the masculinity inside of you. And to have a strong man in your life, you need to make sure that you have a strong masculinity in you. Now, doesn't mean that you have to be like acting like a man. You need to have the strengths as a man. So a woman is 75% should be feminine and 25% masculine. And that masculinity should be kind of dormant, but yet a very strong. And that's what we're going to work today on. For example, I will give you an example. I used to have a mentor, and she has a lot of masculine energy in her. Now, she fully depends on her husband. Her husband supports her and the children, obviously, but she has so much reassurance inside of her, and her husband is very successful. That I remember one time she told me, I even sometimes want to be single because I know I can be super successful. Like she has these ideas and everything, and she is. Obviously, she used to be my mentor, so she was making money and was making really good money. What I want to say is that to when you heal your masculinity doesn't mean that you will act masculine. That means that you will be strong enough inside of you. You wouldn't be challenged by a masculine man. You will draw a masculine man inside of a strong masculine man. Now, why is it? So again, if you are not happy with the man that you have around you right now, the problem is not in man. The problem is in you. Your masculinity is not up to your standard. Now, you will say, well. For example, if your man is not buying you presents, right? Are you buying presents to yourself? Are you buying yourself presents and you're not regretting that after? Do you believe that you deserve presents from receiving presents, something like that? Basically, a man outside of you is in your life to show you what you need to work on. Everybody is actually, but men in particular are a reflection of your masculinity. So they are only showing what needs to be worked on in in your masculinity. So relationship with your mom is basically a relationship with yourself, with love towards yourself, self-love. Relationship with your father is your security, your self-security. Relationship with your man is your inner masculinity, and he will be showing you um, what um, what you need to work on. For example, if a man is abusing your boundaries somewhat, then you need to make sure that your inner man is strong enough to push away any kind of danger and can stand for itself. So a man will not cross the boundaries if you are strong enough to keep those boundaries. If a man inside of you will not allow to cross them, you see. So a man, technically, we should be thanking man outside for showing what we need to work on. Now, if my boundaries are weak and a man outside is overcrossing them, it's not only him who will be stepping all over me. Everybody else. I will go to the store and somebody will push me, or maybe Or maybe I will try to get in line and somebody will get ahead of me. So it is important. You see, it is very important. A man outside will show you how to succeed in life, how to have a strong masculinity. So it is important. Whatever you will tell me, inner masculinity is important. I will even tell you from my clients, most of my clients are masculine. I wouldn't lie. They have a lot of masculine energy. So they have their masculinity. All they need to do is keep the masculinity clean. But I have feminine clients too. And for them to become feminine, they shouldn't even be work on their femininity. They need to work on their masculinity. Um, so they need to make sure that their masculinity is clean and strong, because if it's not clean and strong, they get into panic and anxiety. I mean, they could not make any kind of solutions, decisions. I mean, they are like all over the place. So it is important. Remember though, it is only 25% of you should be masculine, 75% you should be feminine. And technically, you don't really need that much masculinity. As long as your masculinity is strong, for the most part, you don't. If you're super feminine, your life is mostly in pleasure. You don't really need to overdo or overexhaust yourself just to be successful or be liked or something like that. For the most part, you will be getting all this from man. Now, for example, I wrote an example here. If you want a successful man, if you want to attract in your life a successful man, you don't have to be successful yourself, but you need to have a sense of success in you. For example, your masculinity is ready to become successful and so on. Like as I told you about my mentor. Also, I had a friend, not a friend, an acquaintance more like. She's very she's super entitled. She's from a very wealthy family. She has two older brothers and a father that spoil her rotten. I mean, she's just so entitled. In her life, she attracts only very successful, very wealthy men. She doesn't even have like I remember we were talking to her. I was talking to her, and she said, "I don't know where these girls find losers. I mean, all men are so successful." And I understand why she was why was she saying this? Simply because in her life, her masculinity doesn't see anything different. Does it mean that she's super successful and wealthy? No, it is not. But she assumes, her masculinity assumes that it is easy to be successful, so to say. She knows her masculinity is super secure. um, Again, you don't have to do everything to attract such a man, but you need to have an inner strength inside of you. Dun, 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 dun. Another example here. If inside of you you're worried and concerned about security, you will attract a man that is basically also not very secure, that has some kind of maybe issues. Maybe if you are changing jobs or something, you don't feel very um, you don't feel very like very grounded right now. You'll probably attract a man like this. And I noticed myself through different times of my life, I was attracting different men. There were, when I was on top of the world, so to say, I was attracting men like this. When I was changing kind of when I was moving, when I was changing careers, the men that I was attracting were the same. So they were secure but not very secure. They had time, they needed time to become stronger, to become more secure. So you will attract. And I was thankful for them to show what I need to work on. So if a man is sitting on a date and he's like, well, I'm not sure in what direction to do, whether I should buy Bitcoins or I should invest or this and this. I mean, I was basically telling him, thank you inside myself. Thank you for showing me, because I'm right now, my masculinity is doubting you a lot of things too. So what to do to keep the masculinity clean and clear? This is basically why we're here, and I will tell you. To keep the masculinity, I will tell you what I do, and I will tell you what needs to be done. So masculinity thrives in need four conditions to kind of to thrive. If you have a man, this is also what they require. Your inner masculinity also requires this. So these are emptiness, simplicity, no obligations, and being loved without any kind of conditions. This is why masculinity will grow, will be stronger and will grow. Now, let me explain to you. So I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. So emptiness, you need to to have an empty space. You need to let the masculinity work in something and strive. In chaos, masculinity could not work, because masculine energy is very linear, and it's not horizontal, so it could not be it could not multitask, it could not be paying attention to everything. So if you have a chaos on your desk, it would be very hard for your masculinity to concentrate. That's why masculinity thrives in emptiness. That's why most masculine men have nothing in their apartments or houses. They're very basic. They have a mattress on the floor or a bed, and then they have a couch and probably a PlayStation and a TV. That's all they usually have, and a laptop to work. For the most part, prove me wrong, but masculine men usually like this. Why? Because they thrive in emptiness. They need emptiness to focus on one thing, not on many. Now, if they will have plants, animals, this would be already too much. The attention would be dissolved. Another thing is simplicity. Now, simplicity is like the same, pretty much it's the same thing. So basically they need usually masculine solutions are very simple and all focused on solution. So there is no like, maybe it would be like this or maybe it would be like this. Masculinity is very simple. They will get to the solution in the like shortest span of time, and they will find it. So don't overcomplicate the matter. If you like, for example, even with myself, right? If I want to go to, let's say, Bora Bora, right? I tell myself I want to go to Bora Bora. That's it. Let my masculinity decide how I'm going to get to Bora Bora, instead of thinking, well, but maybe it's expensive, maybe it's not a good season, or maybe this, or maybe this. It will overcomplicate the matter. My masculinity will not be able to clearly find a solution if I will overcomplicate the matter like this. It would be with the man or with my masculinity inside. So if you want the masculinity to work, you need to make sure that you are given simple task, like straight task, nothing overcomplicated. Don't overanalyze something that doesn't need to be overanalyzed. Another thing that your masculinity likes is no obligations. So because masculinity is so linear and it's all about moving up and quickly kind of achieving new things, masculinity doesn't like to be grounded. So if you will put too much on a masculine man, okay, so you need to do this, like a lot of conditions, masculinity will not thrive. I'm telling you this. If you want a successful masculine man, if you want your masculinity to be, don't overcrowd yourself with responsibilities. Just one task at a time, so to say. Don't none of this. Okay, so I need to buy a present for my friend. I need to buy flowers for my colleague. I need to do this. Okay, all these needs and must have to go. If you need the masculinity to be strong, they need to go. And if you have a man, don't overcrowd him with all this as well. Tell him one simple solution. I need 10,000 a month to kind of to be happy, and that's it. Let him make money instead of you. Okay, so I need you to pick up laundry. I need you to do this. I need to do this. Masculinity doesn't work like this. It could not be. Yes, it could not be. I miss TikTok. I so much miss TikTok, honestly. So masculinity could not strive, could not prosper in obligations, in all this kind of fruits. And another thing, the fourth condition is masculinity needs to know that they are loved without conditions. Doesn't mean that they wouldn't do any of your standards or conditions. They just mean that they want to know that they are appreciated and loved. I'm talking about a man in your life and a masculinity inside of you. That's why when you are with if you want your masculinity to thrive, make sure that you do love yourself and accept yourself. If you don't love, and if you always constantly criticizing yourself, like, oh, I was supposed to go for a run today and I didn't go, I was supposed to do this and I didn't go, like, if you constantly focusing on what you didn't do, you're basically showing your masculinity, I'm not satisfied with you, I'm not happy with you, I'm not admiring you, and you're not good enough. You see, masculinity is thriving only when It needs to know that it's loved. So you need to love yourself unconditionally for your masculinity to be strong. I'm telling you, and I checked it on me so many times. um it just that's how it is. You need to make sure that your masculinity knows that it's loved. Basically, you just need to give yourself absolute self-love. Okay, so what to do? You need to make sure that your space is clean up your space. I always tell this, and I will tell you one more time. The space needs to be cleaned. Anything that you don't use has to go. Anything that you haven't used in a year or so has to be thrown away. Make sure that you don't have clutter. Make sure that you don't have clutter all around you. Make sure that everything is on its own place, and get rid of everything, honestly. I mean, this would allow new energy to come into your space. Another thing you need to do, you need to spend time doing nothing. I remember I had a boyfriend, and he was amazing. I mean, he was very masculine, and when he would come from work, he would just sit and he would put Netflix on, but he couldn't understand English, so I didn't understand why he's just sitting and staring at the TV. And only when I start working with energy, I understand the guy is just unwinding like this. He's just sitting and basically looking at the emptiness. He doesn't really understand what's going on, but it cleared his mind. He's sitting in the emptiness. He was valuing the simplicity of life. He couldn't overcrowd his mind with thoughts all the time. So he needs something to basically to simplify his life, so to say. I mean, sometimes he would play games, I guess, I'm not sure how it's called, but video games for like half an hour after he comes from work. And I guess after half an hour, he's like all a brand new person. I'm not sure what it was, but only when I start working with my masculinity, I start understanding. You see, when you need to come up with some kind of decision, you can't do it when you're like have all these thoughts and overcrowding. You need to sit in a quiet place and just not think about nothing. Just allow yourself to be in this emptiness of nothing, basically. So do spend time doing nothing at all in a quiet place, hopefully. Preferably. Another thing what you need to do, you need to go outside in the nature. Nature grounds man, but it is non-obligation or non-obligatory grounding. So make sure that you do spend time in nature. It does help your masculinity very, very much, especially if you're moving. You don't have to move, but when you're moving, it's even better. And another thing that you should do to clear your masculinity, you should preferably stay with people that love you and don't expect nothing from you. And you also shouldn't be doing nothing. So for example, you're meeting with your friend and just tell your friend, let's just not talk for half an hour. And you will see how hard it will be in the beginning, because you're so used to constantly chatting and proving, we're often afraid that if we don't say something or if we don't chat, we will be not accepted, or so to say. But you'll see, you don't really need to talk to be loved. You don't need to do anything to be accepted. This is how you will prove your masculinity, that you are loved without any kind of expectations. And that's what you need to do to fulfill those 4 conditions. Now, what do I do to keep my masculinity healthy? Because I'm highly feminine, so obviously I have to do a little extra. This is the things that the conditions that I told you now. These are for everybody. So if you're a highly masculine woman, you still need to do that. You could not be constantly doing something. At one point, you will just basically collapse. So you need to have these moments of emptiness and clearness and just doing nothingness. You also need to know that you are loved. You see, especially if you are very masculine man and woman, they need validation. They need proof that they are loved. They could not give love to themselves. So they now size 8. So they need to you need to know that you are loved and accepted without any kind of conditions. Me, for example, I don't need to know whether I'm loved and accepted, because I give a lot of love to myself. So I frankly don't really care, and it is not a condition for me. Now, if I would be highly masculine, I would need that. I would need that validation. So everybody, whether you're masculine or feminine, these 4 conditions need to be somehow met in your life for your masculinity to be healthy, not even clinically, just healthy for now. Now, the things that I do as a very feminine woman. Now, because I'm feminine, I absolutely don't have energy of air. So I have no planets in Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra, and I have like very little fire in me. So these are masculine energy that I don't really possess. Now, so I need to work on it. I need to work on this. When I have clients who say, well, I don't know how to work on my femininity. You given me exercises. I need to sit and meditate. I need to work with my second and fourth chakra. I need to give love to myself. At least you don't have to go for a run every single day. So developing femininity is not as hard. You basically need to be in your body. You need to listen to your body, and you need to develop feelings in your body and emotions. Now, developing masculinity is different, and this is what I do as a feminine woman who obviously needs to have masculinity and who needs to keep her masculinity strong. If I will not keep my masculinity strong, men will step all over me, and they did before. I mean, I wouldn't allow them, so I would just basically escape and escape and escape again and again. But you can't be constantly escaping. I mean, at one point you have to face the challenge, and you need to make sure you're strong enough for the man outside of you not to overpower you, so to say, or see you as strong enough not to do nothing that they would regret. So this is what I do. First of all, I do develop fire in me. How do I develop fire in me? So I develop fire and air all the time. I had to do it constantly. So it's not like once a week thing. The same as I tell my ladies, masculine ladies, to work on their femininity. It is not once a month thing. It's a constant kind of work. How do I develop my fire? I go for a run. This is the easiest for me, and that's basically it. How else you can do? You can burn candles around you. You can spend time in the sun. You can hike. So anything that would work with your third chakra. So you need to speed up your heartbeat, but it has to be natural. You know, you can even do it through breathing, but it has to come naturally and it has to involve the whole body. Because if you will just squeeze your third chakra and breathe very fast, it's not natural. It will not be harmonious fire in your body. So it has to be something like that. Either you um, something like for at least 20 minutes a day. It has to be, yeah, and making love, yeah, if you can. I mean, for 20 minutes every day. And if it's really like that, if your heart is if your heartbeat is speeding up, then it will work. But running works for me because it's available and it's everywhere, and basically it's easy for me. Also, playing tennis, playing soccer, all these games, playing basketball, so something that will speed up your breathing, and it will speed up really good. So, like for example, Pilates also speeds up your breathing, but you're not working with your um, you mostly working with your core, so you're developing earth, not fire. Another thing that I do, I obviously develop air. How do I develop air? I try new things. These days I'm traveling, so I develop air really, really a lot. Now, when fire is basically your actions, your confidence, your desire to explore and live. Now, your air is your optimism, your belief that you can do anything and for everybody, so to say, and um, yeah, and you need air. Basically, everybody needs air. Man energy of air are very. If you didn't listen to those videos, I have a video about man energy of air, man energy of fire, man energy of earth, man energy of water. Please do watch them. So how I develop air, I try new things. I try new food. I mean, I travel. When I was not traveling that much, I was taking new routes. I was trying new places in my city, in Miami. in New York before that. So thank God I lived in big cities. So there was always something new to do, something new to explore. This is so basically to develop air, you need to go into something that's not comfortable. You need to go in discomfort. And the more you do that, the more you develop it, the more you become invincible with something unexpected. You see, the thing is that if something unusual comes to you, it will be um, it's challenging. But if you have developed air in you, it's easy, so to say. uh, Another thing that I do to work on my masculinity, I record all my achievements. I used to do it. uh, I often do it. I used to do it constantly, like every day I would write down. These days I do it not constantly, but once in a while. So I could do it for a week and then I wouldn't do. So basically, I have a little notebook, and every day I am I'm writing down something um, like the accomplishments that I did for the day. Even if I didn't do nothing, I still will write down something. Even if I watch Netflix the whole day, I still will write down. Watch the movie that I wanted to watch for so long, or um, I don't know, or cooked dinner for myself, didn't skip the takeout or something. So I will find, I basically, my challenge was to find 5 accomplishments every day. And it was easy when you're at work or when you're doing something, but when you're at home and it's raining outside like today, it's kind of challenging. But the goal is to find, because we always do accomplish things, and the more we keep focus on this, the more our masculinity strives, because it knows it's appreciated the more it does. And I was doing it. So you basically write down anything, anything, even if you um, even if you read like 50 pages, you write down, read 50 pages today. Um, oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what could be the combination. For me, it was for the most part anything. I answered all my clients, accomplishment. I spoke to one of my friends for half an hour on the phone, accomplishment, because I'm not a big fan of talking on the phone. I mean, like it is accomplishment. I cook for myself, accomplishment, because for the most part, I mean, I don't really like to cook. So all these accomplishments. I woke up before 10 a.m. accomplishment. um, Stuff like that. I didn't eat no sweets, accomplishment, and I would just write down. You don't understand how important it is for your masculinity. The more you focus on what you did good, the more your masculinity inside of you start doing. The more it wants to do something good and something that you will be proud of. You see, the same like men in your life. The more you focus on what they do good, the more they do of that. And if your man, so if you have a man that doesn't do what you want him to do, then maybe you are not really appreciating the man inside of you. Maybe you are not valuing the accomplishments that you do, so you also not valuing the accomplishments that your man does, and he's showing you that. You see, for the most part, honestly, women that say, "Oh, my man doesn't do nothing. He's so lazy. He's so non-ambitious." Usually, these are women that don't know how to turn their life around. They are not satisfied with their life. This is like the most common thing, honestly. For, like, if a woman complains about her husband because he's like, if a woman says that her husband is not ambitious, I already know she's not satisfied with her accomplishments. That's it. I mean, she doesn't even have to tell me much. So what I tell her, I mean, what did you accomplish today? And then she starts, oh, today I didn't do this, I already know. So like this, it is very, very important. I mean, at first you basically will have to come up with some accomplishments, but every day it will be easier and easier to find the new accomplishments, and your focus will be on accomplishment mostly. Like for me, this YouTube channel for me is my masculine accomplishment, because I'm not a big fan of this publicity. I'm not an extrovert, so me doing this, I mean, I really, this is like my masculinity's project, so to say. And I enjoy it. The more I do it, the more I enjoy it. Now, another thing that I do to keep my masculinity clean is I create security for myself. You see, because move to a higher. I used to live in Ohio for a little bit. Um, um, I create security for myself because I have so much energy of water, and you know how water is. It's like this. It needs to be stabilized a little bit. I do create security for me, and the more I start creating security in my life, in my body, inside of me, the more secure man I start attracting. I mean, I always had men that was successful. Just they sometimes they don't feel secure. Like I would attract men that have money coming in and out, and they just like it's just never ending process. But there is no house, there is no investments, no 401, no IRA, no, like, okay, so that's good that you have money and you're spending them, but I mean, what about the future? So the more I start thinking, the more I start creating this security for myself, the more men outside of me start create the more I start attracting men outside who will basically focus on their security as well. Obviously, they are not as crazy because I'm not as crazy. I'm not going to be investing my every dollar. I do enjoy my life. I like to spend, but I do think about security. And the older I become, the more I think about it. So if you have issues with the security and you have issue with the men that don't provide you security, then chances are you don't have security within you, inside of you. And what you need to do is you need to start creating that security. You see, you don't have thousands of dollars to start investing. I'm telling you, the person who spent a lot of years in finances, you can start on Robinhood or whatever those platforms are. You can start with I don't know, with $50, I think, or with $10, and little by little, and then you see how your investments. Well, right now I guess they are not growing, but once they will start growing, you will feel very, very accomplished, very like really. Um, Even if you have $500 on your brokerage account, you still feel very accomplished. You still feel more secure than even if you wouldn't have any money on it. So women that don't have security, that want men who will provide them security, I always tell them, start with securing yourself, securing your future. So basically, usually I just tell them, open yourself an IRA to start with, and open yourself a savings account to start with. I mean, obviously savings account doesn't pay much, but it is something. If you are able to put aside a little money every month, I mean, you will see how fast you will get men that are putting much more and have much more, because inside of you, you will feel secure. You see, it's just a game with yourself, so to say. It has nothing to do with man outside of you. It's a game with yourself. So this is what I do. I create security. Despite the fact that I'm traveling and this and that, I still do create security for me because it is important for me. I do need this grounding. And like this, I basically, my masculinity thrives because it does know that it's secure. Another thing, and one more thing that I do, I work with so masculinity is first, third, and fifth chakras. And I will go over them right now. So I work with these three chakras. I don't work with them all the time. My whole energy field is pretty balanced, but I do work with these chakras when I feel like my masculinity is lacking. Um, so, dominant masculine chakras are first, third, and fifth, and dominant feminine chakras are second, fourth, and sixth. Our first chakra is our security. This is dominant masculine center. Men provide security to women, to everybody, basically. So they provide with house, with food, with basic necessities. Now, the third chakra is our actions, our desire to exploit, our solar plexus. This is basically what pushes men to do something, to be active, and women, obviously, they have highly developed. This is our fire. So if our first chakra is our earth, our third chakra is our fire, and the fifth chakra is our so on the third chakra, a man gives a woman already more than just basic stuff. He basically gives her some kind of presents, maybe expensive presents. So it's not just basic food, it's something more, something maybe some kind of trips, something luxurious, so to say, because he accomplishes and does something. And the fifth chakra is basically your representation in the world. This is what you speak, how you represent yourself. This is also driving masculine chakra. And on this center, a man gives a woman a status, so either wife, girlfriend, or something else. So for you, if you want to have a strong masculinity, you need to work on these three energetic centers. Me, when I start developing my femininity, I was obsessed with feminine chakras only, and my masculinity, and I couldn't understand why I'm not attracting like everything that I was promised, all the love, luxury, and attention, and well, attention I always had, but the abundance, luxury, strong man, accomplished man. Why I'm not attracting it when I'm working on my, on my pleasure, my love? Because my masculinity inside was weak. I was not working on that. So that's why I work on my masculine centers all the time. Now, you need to make sure that your first chakra is strong. This is for feminine and masculine energy. Why? Because it's rooted you. It keeps you secure, and that I accomplished through basically through grounding and through creating security for myself. I work now. This chakra is this chakra will is in your tailbone. If you like, the easiest way to work on this is either grounding yourself or breathing through your tailbone. Imagine the air coming in and out through your tailbone. This is how you will activate the chakra. It's easy as that, but ideally would be walk barefoot if the weather allows you. Walk barefoot on the ground, like on real ground. I mean, in the park somewhere or on the beach. So it has to be real earth. Now the third chakra, this how I work on it. I basically run, because this is the fire that you need to create. How you can do also, how you can work on that, you can breathe through your solar plexus. So imagine the air goes in and comes out from the back, like it comes out, and just breathe like this. Make sure you don't squeeze your solar plexus. This is very important, because then the actions in your life will become very hard. It has to be in pleasure. Remember, you are a feminine woman, so the actions have to come in pleasure. Your solar plexus has to be relaxed and has to be in pleasure, and then you can just breathe through it in and out. And obviously, you can have fire around you, and through running, through doing something active. So this energy center corresponds to your actions. You see, the more active you are, the more it is work. Make sure it's not all work, though. That's why I told you you need to be active, but the running for 20 minutes is better than running for 2 hours, because you will overexhaust yourself. This is not how you heal your energy. And the third one is your fifth chakra. This is your throat chakra, your throat energy center. Usually, when you have problems with your energy center, when you could not speak for yourself, when somebody asks you what do you do, and you're like, well, I am, and you, especially if you have a business on your own or a project of your own, and you couldn't even speak up, or when somebody asks you, well, how much your services cost, and you're like, well, and you shy, you could not speak for yourself. You see, masculine man and woman usually are not shy. They can speak for themselves easily, especially man and woman energy of air. So, or for example, you have a lot of knowledge, but you don't know how to monetize it, or you are shy to share it. The same thing. How do you work with your throat chakra? The same thing. You breathe with your throat. Imagine air comes in and comes out. Imagine that the throat is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you just all relax. Make sure don't squeeze your throat. Also, the throat is energy of air, so work on your energy of air. The more you speak, the more you speak about yourself, like almost go into uncomfortable, almost. So there is a video that I did, how do you block your money, and I basically explain how you block the money on every single energy center. And one of you wrote to me, thank you for your video. I'm really grateful. I listened to your video and I understand that I'm blocking my money on my throat energy center. I'm afraid to speak about myself and for myself. So what she did, she basically listened to what I said, and she went into discomfort, and she told her friends about what she decided to do and how much she's going to charge for it. And her business picked up like this, like very, very fast. She started I'm not sure what she's doing. Either cakes or something, something that she does herself. So her business starts thriving because of that, because she was able to actually uh, find enough courage and enough lightness and optimism to tell people about what she's doing, and she doesn't mind to do it for a particular amount of money. She actually quit her job, and this is all she does. And she's actually very popular because in her town, I think she's even delivering her baked goods. I think it's cakes, as far as I remember, to local bakeries. So she's not only making cakes for particular events, but she also distributes them in the bakery. So you see, like one thing was blocking her from, so she was doing actions, she was baking the cakes. It just, she was like basically baking them and giving them to friends, to like this. She was not, it's not like she was doing the actions, she felt secure, she knows how to do the actions, but she could not speak about that. Once she started speaking about that, I mean, her business went viral, so to say. So your fifth chakra is very important. A lot of people kind of dismiss it, but that's not. I mean, people energy of air have a strong fifth chakra usually, but people who don't have much air, like me, usually tend not to speak about themselves. So this is also my challenge, and I will obviously work on that. So I work on all three chakras. So again, first chakra is your security, third chakra is your actions, your passions, and your fifth chakra is your presentation in the world. So how you position in the world, what you're offering for the world to benefit from you, kind of like that. And obviously, there is energy exchange, so you're getting something for that as well. So this is what I do. Again, let's go over, and then I will answer a question I have here. I have enough time. So I always say that a man outside is a representation of the masculinity inside of you. That's just non-negotiable. Don't blame man that you have. If your man is not up to your standard, then your masculinity is not up to your standard. Work on your masculinity. Your man is only showing what you're missing. Now, if you are afraid that you will start working on your masculinity and your man will vanish, don't worry on that. It's either he will start changing, and I saw it actually many times, or he will kind of naturally dissolve. So maybe he will say, listen, let's just be friends, and you will attract in your life a different kind of partner. It all comes very naturally. It doesn't happen overnight. But for the most part, from what I see in couples, men usually start picking up the pace. Now, once you, so don't blame the man. Never blame the man. If a man is cheating on you, then your masculinity is basically cheating on yourself. Now, for example, you decide for yourself, I'm going to go for a run every day, and then you don't go for a run every day. So your masculinity is cheating on you. Your is not faithful to your wishes, right? Or for example, you say you decide that you're not going to go to you're not working overtime, and then the boss when somebody come to you and, hey, can you stay please overtime, and you're like, okay, fine. You're betraying yourself. So if you're betraying yourself, your man is cheating on you. Why is he cheating on you? Because you're betraying yourself. Don't blame the man. Again, work on your masculinity. If you would have a strong masculinity, when somebody will come and say, hey, can you work for me, can you work overtime, you will say, oh, listen, I would love to, but I have plans, sorry, I'm out, like this. And man has nothing to do. Don't blame the man. When I was attracting, when even sometimes right now, when I encounter a man that I'm not happy with, I'm like, okay, what is he trying to tell me? Let me kind of work on myself. And I'm like, okay, thanks for showing me that. Doesn't mean that I'm going to socialize with him again, but I'm grateful that he showed me that. Like, for example, I will give you an example. I always thought, I love flowers like every woman, and plus I'm from such a background where flowers for a woman is like a must. And I always thought, let me just become super rich, and I will be buying myself like 500 roses every day. I will just have them in every corner. But I was comfortable with money, and I was getting money, and I could have spared them on the flowers, but I never bought myself that much. Like, obviously I always have flowers. I always bought myself flowers. I always was gifted flowers, but to spend so much money on 500 roses doesn't make sense to me, honestly. I would rather buy something that would stay with me or invest even. Now, am I surprised that no man ever bought me 500 roses? I mean, I guess not, because I just don't see sense in it for myself. Now, I'm traveling all the time and I'm traveling a lot. I'm spending money on traveling. Now, do I attract men that are traveling and that don't mind spending on traveling? Yes, I do. I mean, because you see, the man outside will only show me what is inside of me. So if you want to be in Monte Carlo on a yacht, um, you need to have this complete sense of that you are supposed to be there, that you fully deserve it, and that you will be in no time like that. You see, I don't have this desire even or belief, I guess, in me. So the men that I attract, they like different stuff. Anyways, so what I do, what do you need to keep your masculinity clean and clear? For it to kind of to do everything for you, you need to make sure that you have a clean space, no clutter, no chaos in your space. The space has to be clear. Masculinity operates very linear, operates only in clear space. And the clearer it is, the better, throw away everything. Masculinity operates, thrives in simplicity. So don't overcrowd your mind. You need to, for example, you need to find a new apartment to live. Okay, just give your masculine side a task. Okay, so I need an apartment on the beach with huge windows, with a lot of sunlight, with the AC, in a beautiful building. Well, I think AC is everywhere, but with the garage, with the gym and everything with it, right? And let the masculinity work on this. Don't try to say, well, what if I find this apartment and there is roaches all over? Or what is if association will not approve me or something? Don't allow your mind to your masculinity works in it's very simple. Allow it to work for you. Allow your masculinity to find you that apartment or somebody who will find that apartment. Also, masculinity works with no obligations. So get rid of all the ties that are holding you down. I did it, and I told you this in the video. 5 things I stopped doing to heal my relationship with money. This was one of them. I get rid of everything that ties me down. Doesn't mean that I don't have obligations. I still do, but I don't have that many that would overcrowd my reality. Like I don't wake up and I'm like, my God, I have to do this. I have to do this. Like there's no such thing in my life anymore. My bills that I have are on auto pay, so to say, and the rest is just basically voluntarily. If I want, I do something. If not, I don't. I mean, I work with my clients, but I don't see it as an obligation. I more see it as as a challenge that I like to do, so to say. And then make sure that you do love yourself without any obligations. So don't tell yourself, Anastasia, you getting a cake today because you went for a run. No, not like this. If I'm getting a cake, I'm getting a cake because I want a cake, not because there shouldn't be no conditions. I'm telling you, you will see the difference, a huge difference in your life if you will start loving yourself just because, with no conditions, with no kind of extra work. So what I would suggest you to do, this is to keep the masculinity clean for everybody. Clean up your space, obviously. Hi, welcome. Clean up your space. Make sure that you spend at least half an hour a day doing nothing, just sitting like this and looking at the wall. Just allow your masculinity to process everything that you wanted. Make sure that you obviously don't have no obligations. I already spoke about that. And do spend time in nature. And spend time with people that you don't need to prove anything. So just sit and don't talk, don't do nothing. Prove yourself that you are loved without conditions, so to say. Now, what do I do to keep my masculinity, to develop my masculinity? Because I don't only keep it clean, I also need to develop it. Remember, I don't have it much. I do work on my fire constantly. How I do it? I go for a run. And I do actions. If I don't want to do something, I kind of push myself if I know that it would benefit me. Another thing that I do work on my air as well, energy of air. For that, I try new different things constantly at this moment. Another thing that I do, I achieve and record. I record all my achievements and I basically reread them. So what you can do, you can start with every day you can write down 5 achievements and just before going to sleep. So 5 achievements for the day, no matter what it is. I mean, write down whatever. It's all mental game with yourself. I'm telling you. And just reread it. Next day, reread the previous day and the day that started. You will see it. You will start doing more because um, it will be like a challenge for yourself in a good way. So I do that periodically. I will be honest. I do create security for myself. Um, I do invest, I do save. That really gives me, the feeling of uh, the feeling that I have this security. The feeling comes from the inside, but but I must have some kind of outside proof that it is happening. So doing that helps me create security inside of me. And I work on the 3 masculine chakras, first, third, and fifth. Usually, I just sit and breathe through them for 5. I do a little more complicated stuff. You don't need to. I mean, I'm a Reiki master, so obviously for me it's easier. You don't do it. I mean, you can move energy in different kind of directions that would propel different actions. So actions from outside or actions from the inside. You don't need to do. Don't overcomplicate. You can just breathe through them. So that's it. All right. If you again, if you want to be feminine, you need to make sure that your masculinity is clear. How do you know where you're standing with your masculinity? You will see it from your man. So if you have a successful, generous, if you're completely satisfied with your man, the man, so either the man in your life right now, maybe your husband, maybe your boyfriend, or if you're dating, kind of, if you're satisfied with men you are dating, then your masculinity is on point. If you're not satisfied with something in men around you, that means you're not happy with your masculinity. And for that, you will need to you will need to work on, basically the man outside of you will show you what you need to work on. I'm not sure what you could be dissatisfied on. For example, I don't like when men are not proactive, like when they're talking but not doing. And I know where it's coming from because I could be like this too, my masculinity could be like this too. Like, I'm like, should they go out to eat or should they order? Should they cook? And I could sit for hours like this and thinking, until I'm already so hungry that I would just snack on something. Like, and I don't like this kind of. I mean, make a decision and stick to it. What is wrong with me? But I would just go on and on and on. Should they order? Should they not? I will go on the site. I'm like, should they do this or should they go eat salad or should they cook something? Like, come on stage, sometimes I'm just exhausted from my mind running in circles. So, and I don't like men who are like this. So what I do, I basically make sure that I always if I need to make a decision, I make a decision and stick to it, and that's it. If I decided to order food today, all right, that's it. Tomorrow I'm cooking or something. So don't blame the man. Basically, work on yourself. Again, I also wanted to tell you something. um, don't confuse a father-daughter relationship with the man and woman relationship. So if you have a man that is basically treating you like you're his daughter, like you're his little girl, you're like you couldn't do nothing without him. You ask him for everything. You need to call a taxi, and he's calling you a taxi. These are not a healthy relationship between man and woman. So don't confuse them. This is not. There is no masculinity at all, and it is basically a little. It is unhealthy. These are people in seriously wounded relationship. A woman is forever a child. A man is forever parent. There are relationships like this, and they can go for years. I actually knew a woman who was in her 80s, and her husband died, and she was like a lost child. Now she doesn't know what to do because her husband died. She even I remember me and my friend who kind of knew her because she was our neighbor in the same building, and she's like, I don't know what to do. He was doing everything. Like, I don't even know what to cook because he would tell what are we going to eat every day. Like, it was very strange. So doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It does happen, but this is not the healthy relationship. This is not what you should aim for. You should aim to be a strong feminine woman with the strong masculinity inside, attract a strong masculine man with the kind of strong femininity inside, and then you basically developing together, and growing together and enjoying yourself together. You're not codependent, you see. All right. I have to, you can ask me questions if you have. Let me answer one, and I'm happy you're here. Oh no, that was not your question. Okay. So the question is, so I was talking about I did a few videos about masculinity, and the question was, um, do you plan on making a video about attraction? You gave some hints in other lives. Yes, it is about the energy, but also it is about the looks, smell of him, height. So basically, the question is, um, when we're attracted to a particular type of man, is it all only about energy, or is it about something else? My short answer is it's all about energy, always. No matter how, so a particular energy attract particular man, and particular men look the same, so to say. It's always like this, always. You can, so basically our mind doesn't even see other people. Our mind see our reflection in other people. Now, we're always attracted to the same thing. How for you to find out what you're attracted to, for if you are a woman, you will be attracted to where your Mars is. So my Mars is in Capricorn. I'm attracted to men who are like somewhat Capricornian. So they're always put together. They always have they're always groomed. They are never like bees. So they're always put together. They're this old money kind of style man. And those men, it doesn't matter really their race, their age, doesn't matter for the most part anything. Those men usually somewhat successful, somewhat grounded, but yet focused on actions, something new. So even when I had a man energy of air, he was Aquarius, he had a lot of Capricornian energy. So he was always put together, and and he was this type of man. You will always be attracted to what your attractions come from inside, like this. You might like certain people for a particular, I don't know, like some men are charismatic. They have a lot of this Leo kind of or Sagittarius energy, you kind of or Libras, they are so light and so lovable by everybody. But you will only go, but like truly attracted and truly developed, you will be with the man where your Mars is, basically. And if you are a man, you will go for a woman like based on your Venus sign. So if your Venus is in Virgo, you will like women like Virgo women, like practical, analytical, like know how to cook, know how to host, like this. And it is truly, look, every Capricornian man, for the most part, looks alike. No matter their age, no matter their race, no matter their upbringing, they all look alike. Like when I'm on a dating site, I go through and I can almost guess what man, like, what is his dominant energy. I almost always guess, because they have a particular energy, and we're attracted. If I will go through 50 guys, I will be attracted to maybe 3 of them, and chances are they will have some Capricornian energy. I don't know. It's always like this. Always works for me. So it's always about energy. And the smell of a man, basically, if you are really attracted, if you're really admiring, if he's compatible to your higher goals, he will have the smell that you will like. He will have this odor that you will really admire. Odor, I don't even know what it's right word. I hope I answered that question. When we do masculinity development practices like exercise, having financial security, stability, being disciplined, goals, can we expect that of masculinity? Yes, you see, you joined a little later, but you will rewatch this, and this is exactly what I said. outer masculinity is basically showing you our inner masculinity. And you see, when a woman says, "I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want to have a man. That's it. I'm like celibate for life." This is a wrong statement, because if you don't have a man, you don't know what to work on. Basically, you don't know how your masculinity is. I mean, you can have clues, but the man can show you like in the first 5 seconds. Where you're standing, and from there you can basically say, and look, as I told you again and again, don't blame man for anything, like there is no point. I mean, you can tell him, hey, don't um, don't be a jerk, but inside you must understand he's only showing you what you're lacking, so um yeah, if you have strong masculinity inside of you, trust me, the man outside of you, I mean, I'm so happy with man outside of me right now. I'm really like I couldn't say. But there were times when I was so unhappy with men around me. I was like why am I attracting only losers in my life? What is with me? Don't I deserve a nice man like this? I was like so almost like I couldn't understand why, why is this happening in my life? Why? Because I was absolutely unhappy with my masculinity. I was unhappy with what I'm doing. I was unhappy how I'm doing it. I was unhappy that I couldn't tell no to so many people. I was unhappy that I don't accomplish nothing. Plus, I was gaining weight. There was nothing I was happy about in my life about my masculinity. So who I was attracting losers. I mean, this is just, but at that time I was not understanding this, so I was blaming man, and I was blaming basically universe and everybody, like God, whoever that was listening, that I'm just so unfortunate, and this just I could not attract anybody decent like that. But again, it has nothing to do with man. The man would just come in and show me, Anastasia, get yourself together. This is just impossible. And I was, instead of me listening to the signs that I was attracting, I was basically just fighting outside. Again, fighting outside will never do. And if you are working with me, if you do consultations with me, and I'm telling you this all the time, man has nothing to do. Now you will tell me, what about the Cinderella stories? A woman that basically come from nothing and suddenly she has this wealthy man that kind of showers her with gifts and everything. Okay, there is two scenarios. It's either it's unhealthy relationship and he's love bombing her and manipulating her, and she's basically a puppet in love in his life. She probably was a puppet to her parents, and now she's basically a puppet in his life. Or she had so much energy of air in her that she assumed that it was a normal kind of that's normal. Usually women energy of air could be like this. They could have nothing and suddenly get a man that basically showers them with everything, because they just assume they have this queenish kind of energy around them. They're that there's nothing impossible for them. So, but for the most part, I mean, let's be realistic. We're in this world. For the most part, a man outside of you is only will give you what a man inside of you will give. Again, um, don't if you don't believe that buying diamonds is a good investment or a good kind of way to spend money right now. I mean, don't expect a man that will be spending that will be buying diamonds. Don't. It's one thing that you don't have money, but if you will spend them, and you will buy yourself diamonds. Another thing, when you have money and you're like, no, I don't think so, let me wait until a man will buy me. No chance. I mean, you can convince him and he will buy, but he wouldn't be buying it as a man that would buy if you would decide that diamond is just must be for you. That's it. No kind of no kind of discussion. Again, I'm not talking about a man that's buying something. It's also about the treatment. If a man is abusive for you, why you why your borders are so unstable? Why is your masculinity so non-existent that you allow this? Like, do you even believe that masculinity inside of you can protect you? Like, my masculinity is, yeah, I could be a little lazy sometimes, I wouldn't lie. That's why I'm working on it all the time. But I know that if I need to, I can get together. I can get myself together, and then God knows I can be furious. But again, it's not like it's not my natural self. But I can get together. You see, now there's like I can take that much from the outside until finally I will say no. I mean, it was before. Right now, I nobody really treating me anyhow like not good. But even before, I would take. Just a second. Until at one point I would be like, okay, enough is enough. Back off. Like this. So again, man, basically, yeah. The more you work on the masculinity inside of you, again, you don't have to physically be, like you don't have to become successful outside, but you have to have this confidence that you can become successful, whether you have the man around you or not. And if you have this absolute and complete confidence in yourself, you will be attracting men that are, like I live in Miami, yeah, and I have a lot of friends. I have friends that don't work. I have friends that live off their man, and you know, like I know how they're feeling, and they always constantly prove me that. I mean, like I remember when I first moved, I asked this girl. I mean, she was like we, became very close very fast. And I asked her, I mean, you're not afraid that he will leave you because they're not married. It's not like they have some kind of agreement or something like that. That he will leave you, and then what are you going to do? And she told me, well, I mean, I probably will be even better without him. Because there are so many wealthy men around me here, and I have some kind of ideas that I would want to do. I only don't do them because I am with him. So she has this super confidence about her. She knows that she will be successful and she can do it. That a man next to her basically matches that confidence that's inside of her, like that. Okay, so I hope this life motivated you to work on your masculinity. Again, you can't be a truly feminine woman without healthy masculinity inside of you. I'm telling you, as a woman who is highly feminine, I have a lot of femininity in you. I have a lot, and in me, I have a lot of water, a lot of earth. So I'm truly feminine woman. But again, why I was not as successful or as productive or as fortunate in love for so many years is because my masculinity was not as strong. And because my masculinity was not as strong, my femininity was all over the place. You see, it was dirty, and it was not it was not attracting what I would want it to attract. You see, and they just basically it. If you want to be truly feminine, that 25% of masculinity that's inside of you has to be strong. Once it is strong, your femininity can basically play around. It's like a child that comes out on the playground with the mom and sees the mom sitting over there and protecting the child. The child explores, the child makes connections, the child tries to do everything because the child knows there's a protection sitting over there. So you need to have this strong protection in you so your creative feminine part can come out and play, to say. I guess natural feminine women, whether they're unhealthy or unhealthy feminine energy, will not be able to go overboard with masculine energy despite developing healthy masculine energy. They can. I was highly masculine for many years because I thought this is the way of life. I mean, I worked in finances, lived in New York. I mean, I got my master's in business. I mean, I was as masculine as I could be. But again, it was a dirty masculinity. It was not a clean masculinity, a masculinity that I would want to have. And I was doing it not because I wanted it so much. I was doing it because the society was kind of pushing me. I thought this is just how I'm supposed to do. My parents were telling me, "Look, you have to grow up and you have to get a degree. You have to build a career." So I kind of grew up with that. But again, at one point, you will get exhausted. You can't be. I have a feminine body. I can't. I don't enjoy the challenges and an activity as much as a man would do, a person in masculine body, so to say. And that's just how it is. So yes, you can, but it wouldn't be natural. So you can be highly masculine, but it wouldn't be natural. At one point, you will collapse When you will collapse, you'll be like, now what am I doing now? So that's why it's better to develop masculinity, keep it clean, but be majority of the time in the feminine energy. That would be much better. Now, for my masculine ladies that are already highly masculine and they don't mind to be masculine, they they have a different challenge. Yeah, we live in a masculine society. They could be super successful and productive, but but they also want to be, they want to be cherished, they want to be loved, they want to have strong men in their life. So they have a different challenge. They have a challenge how to slow down and allow the femininity to kind of flourish, and trust that something will be done for them instead of them. Kind of like that. But again, maybe the main thing that I want you all um, to get from this life: don't blame men. There's no point. I did. When you blame man, you're trying to control outside. Controlling outside will not do you nothing. Controlling outside will give you ulcers. I swear, because you will you will be angry, you will be anxious, you will try to do it, you will fight masculinity with masculinity. I mean, you fight fire with fire. Who is going to win? Fire will win. Fire in the nature of fire will win. So don't blame man, but better look inside what is inside of you that you don't like. So basically, what you don't like in your man, you will not like in you. If your man is, why should we go out and spend money on a restaurant when we can eat out inside? You probably just like that. You probably think, why would I be spending money on something that maybe you go to the store and you're like, eggs are so expensive, something like that. Or if a man is um, if a man could not hold on to money, you probably don't like this within you. Maybe you spending also. As soon as you get a bonus, you kind of go shopping spree. um, so like that. Or if you don't like that the man, look, I have even a whole bunch of examples here. I already spoke about this, the vacation, the roses. I mean, maybe you have examples that you can come up with, but anything that you don't like in your man, you don't accept in yourself, and you want it to be changed. That's why writing down accomplishments and praising yourself for what you do is so crucial. When you are completely satisfied and happy with what you do, you will be completely happy and satisfied with what your man does or man around you. That's just how it is. You need to basically acknowledge, love, admire, and accept the man inside of you. And how you'll do it, you need to prove yourself that the man inside of you is doing the right job. Again, if you constantly complaining and fighting about with yourself, um, you wouldn't win. You're basically telling yourself, look, the man inside of me is so bad. So like that, accept the man in you, accept what that man do something for that man um, to be successful, at least in your eyes. Again, it's a mental game. You're playing with yourself. It's not like you're playing with man outside of you. You're playing with yourself. Your mind doesn't see other people. Your mind see a reflection of you and other people, and man especially. If you feel excited and butterflies with the man, it's because you feel excited and butterflies with the man inside of you, not anyhow else. It's the thing. The good thing is, man outside of you can bring up these feelings. It's easier. That's why it's so important to have the man outside, so he can bring these feelings, these emotions that we have inside ourselves. It's a little hard to recreate the feeling when you never felt them. Okay, that's it. I decided that every Tuesday I'm going to talk about one energy center. So this Tuesday at 11, I'm going to talk about the first energy center, the root chakra. It is your basically your route to wealth. And if you have a strong root chakra, you will have a really good secure life, and you need to work on that. So I'm going to talk about that, and then every Tuesday about a different chakra energy center. And so I'll see you on Tuesday at 11, and then on Thursday at 11. If you have any subjects that you do want me to go over, please do send them. I will I would love to open your subject, because again, my mind works only in one direction. I wouldn't even talk about men if you wouldn't be pushing me to do that. But I see how needed the subjects are, and how many women need this clarity in their life. And do send this video to women that needs to work on who are not happy with their man. Send them this video if they are not happy with their man. Let them work on their masculinity. Again, a man has nothing to do, and whatever you will tell me, a man has nothing to do with it. Man only shows what's inside. Okay, I'll see you all. Thank you very much for all of you being here. Thank you, TikTok. I didn't even look. You will be my greatest accomplishment. I love TikTok and all the comments. Moved to Ohio where the numerous people in need of counsel. Well, I used to live in Ohio. Okay. Thank you everybody for being here. If you don't have questions, enjoy your Sunday. Oh my God. Enjoy your Sunday, and I see you on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Bye, everybody. Enjoy yourself. Oh, I appreciate you all. Bye.